We got Shawn Stevenson on the mic by special request.
Hey.
Yes,
Wow. Okay. I can't believe this is happening.
Sway in the morning.
You want to freestyle, the style ain't free. If you trying to get healthy, you should come see me. Rolling with my son, Jordan E. Spelled with an E, and my little son B. Ooh, we in here with Sway. All the legends come here to stay. Like, your thoughts are literally creating this change in your biochemistry.
Your thoughts are literally causing this change in your biochemistry. I just told somebody last night that was joking and being self-deprecating to themselves to stop doing that. And they said, well, it's only a joke. I'm joking with myself. I said, at the time you said the joke, the mind didn't know the difference. Stop doing that. This is really important, man. We got a guy who we had a chance to speak to during the pandemic when we were all locked up. And from that one conversation, I remember we were discussing it. I was very enlightened and very inspired. And I just really kind of just liked the dude. Like, I felt like if I meet him in person, we can hang out. You know, and he's someone that Tracy speaks extremely highly of. And when he first came on the show, Tracy kind of gave me some intel. And I'm really proud, and we're really lucky to have him here today. Tracy, could you do the honors?
Yeah, I mean, this man is one of the easiest recommendations I could make to anyone who is trying to explore, upgrade their mental health, their physical health, their spiritual health. He is a health expert's favorite health expert, I must say. He is the host of the #1 health podcast right now that has almost 1,000 episodes.
Ooh.
That just
Already been working.
Listen, every corner of this industry. He's a best-selling author. He's a father. He's a husband. He is a stellar human, and he is here to promote Eat Smarter, the family cookbook. Shawn Stevenson.
Yeah, we got it.
Let's go. Yes.
Welcome in person.
Thank you. Yeah, amazing.
And his podcast is called The Model Health Show.
Wow. Shawn, how did this all begin for you? Were you like this as a kid? When did health become a priority?
Oh, man, you want to take it back to the beginning?
Because let me tell you why. All right, a lot of us are at our beginnings.
Yeah, that
right?
part. Yeah.
Again.
Yes.
How many times do we come to the beginning?
Twice born.
Yeah,
Third
right?
born. Yeah.
Third born. What was it that made you take health so seriously?
Yeah. You know, I grew up in a culture similar to a lot of people listening, you know, and we're just inundated with poor health. Yeah. That's all we really knew, just kind of living in what we call today this kind of glorified food desert. But even when you say food desert, I think it's it sounds a little bit exotic still. Yeah. You know, it's not exotic at all. I think it was like a Jodeci video or something in the desert. But
damn, you went deep.
I'm
Shawn dug in the crate.
You know, waters run dry.
Okay.
But it's not like that kind of desert. This is a desert where we're deprived of real food and access to wellness. When I made this transformation, personally, I was living in Ferguson, Missouri. And I was trying to get my degree, first person in my family to go to college, let alone graduate from college. Thank you.
Congratulations. That needs to be acknowledged.
And at the time, there's no gyms in my neighborhood. There's no access to real healthy food. I'm surrounded, thanks to zoning laws, they allow all these ultra-processed fast food companies to just be inundated in the community, and also liquor stores on every corner, check cashing places, just people that are taking advantage of the community. And I was just engulfed in it because that's all I knew. And so at the age of 20, I was diagnosed with the so-called incurable spinal condition. So my spine was deteriorating rapidly. And actually at track practice, I was an aspiring athlete. I ran a 4.5, you know, right around 14, 15, you know.
Did you do that, Sway?
Yeah. Go ahead.
But actually as at track practice, I was doing a 200-meter time trial and my hip broke just from running. And so that was speaking to how low my bone density was. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Just a kid breaking their hip.
Yeah.
And so finally at 20, I get this diagnosis when I'm living in Ferguson. And my life just spiraled downward, man. You know, I was definitely struggling with my mental health. I was struggling with my physical health. I was in a lot of pain. But ultimately, I decided to get well. Yeah. I decided to get well because I'd been pointing the finger, asking why me? Why won't these doctors help me? Why won't, you know, my family, whatever the case might be? I was pointing the fingers at all these other people. And finally, fortunately, I looked within and I made a decision to get well. Most people never do that. It's more like wishful thinking, you know, like, I'll see what happens. I'll give this a try. When you decide something, you cut away the possibility of anything else but that thing. I was going to get well. And not only that, I began to have an audacious goal, which I encourage people to have. So think beyond what's even comfortable. I asked myself, how can I be the healthiest person in the world? I went from why me? Why am I so sick? Why won't anybody help me? To how can I be the healthiest person in the world? And it changed my perspective. I started to see all these things in my environment that were there the whole time. Because low key, there was a farmer's market in Ferguson the whole time.
The whole time.
In the good part of Ferguson, you know, a lot of communities have a good part. And it was just like 5 minutes from my house. It was next door to the police station, you know. So I might have just kind of had tunnel vision.
The
wasn't
association.
tapped in. You wasn't on that frequency. You probably walked by it 1,000 times.
Kept seeing it. Yeah, my family sitting right over there, we started to have this practice of going to the farmer's market together, you know, every week. And, you know, my kids being able to talk to the farmers and to, you know, get little treats and make this kind of a family affair. And long story short, with that transformation, within a nine-month period, when I got my scan done on my spine, I'd regenerated the spinal tissue.
Damn.
My 2 herniated discs had retracted L4, L5, S1. But I didn't look like a person who just kind of like lost weight. I looked like a person who was healthy, you know? And so people at my campus just kept coming up to me. They're like, what did you do? I was like, you know, was it a problem or something? No, they was like, you look so healthy. Can you help me do what you did? And so that was the birthing of my career.
Jeez, my God. Shawn Stevenson. Wow. Oh, that's amazing, man. The power of the mind. Why don't we, and this is, I don't even have a question for this, but why is it that why do you think we're not in tune to that power when it was something utilized, found on your own, and actually have results? Why isn't this taught more as we grow up in public education? Or
man, you already know why. You know, the system that we exist in is not about empowerment. You know, there's a lot of farming of sick people and just keeping people in a condition where we don't understand our power.
Farming of people.
Yeah, and truly, our mind is the first domino in anything. You know, whether it's making choices about what we're eating, our movement practices, sleep, wellness, all that stuff, it starts with the mind. And so if we're not taught about that, and what I used to do, I worked as a nutritionist for many years. So people would come into my practice and we were very good at what we were doing, you know, helping people that coming in on, you know, lisinopril and metformin and all these things, all these chronic conditions, and helping people get well. But a lot of times I would recommend behavior changes for people, but then send them into a culture that was fighting against them to be healthy.
yeah,
Right? And that was the problem. It's kind of like I was helping them to treat a symptom, like this conventional system was doing, and not addressing the root cause. And so I had this revelation to, instead of trying to get them to change their behavior, how about I help them to change the culture around them? In particular, their microculture in their household. And so we can make healthy choices easier. So I stopped working with people and I started working with families, right? And I stopped working at individuals at businesses and I started working with the business itself, right? So now I'm going into like these major corporations and all this other cool stuff that I would have never thought possible, you know? And from there, I started to see this incredible ripple effect. And then that landed me with, you know, book deals and the #1 health podcast and all these other things. But it's because I stopped thinking about helping people to change individually and making the culture around them, making healthy choices easier, if that makes sense.
that makes sense. That's, man, round of applause every time he speaks.
Yes.
You know, I just invited Torch on my guest pass to Equinox. I'm kind of walking in the same
Showing
footsteps
off,
as Shawn
right?
here, man. Right, Shawn? That's what you're saying, right? We're going to
Team up. The buddy movie. Let's go.
I have a friend who goes to, who mainly goes gluten-free here in the U.S., right? Because she's severely intolerant. But when she goes to other countries, she's able to relax a bit and eat glutinous foods and not have the same effect.
Yeah, ain't that something?
What's going on?
I could share, there's a couple of reasons, but I'll share one major one with you. So I'm from St. Louis, and Monsanto is a home base there. And, you know, they would come to the job fairs at my college all the time.
You got to explain who they are.
Okay, I mean, they're a multinational corporation that are involved in our food system, deeply involved in our food system. A lot of genetic engineering and, you know, pesticides and things like that to help to grow crops, all right? So I'm just going to give them a, you know, an efficacious intro. So they would come to the job fairs, and I wanted to work there. That was like one of my like top jobs, to get a good job at Monsanto, you know? And, you know, one of the studies that I actually published in this new Eat Smarter Family Cookbook, by the way, there's over 250 scientific references in a cookbook. It's never been done before.
In this one cookbook that's available now, Eat Smarter, all right, the family cookbook, all right?
And with that being said, but it's also delivered in a way that we're talking like that right now, in a way that's entertaining, that makes sense, that's fun. And so a study that was conducted and published in the Eat Smarter Family Cookbook was done by the WHO, who's got a lot of press the last couple of years. And they affirmed that one of Monsanto's products called glyphosate is a class 2A carcinogen. So that means it probably causes cancer in humans.
Yeah.
In the Environmental Working Group, they did an analysis of products on U.S. store shelves, of all the grain products, and they found that 80 to 90% are contaminated with glyphosate. Again, this causes cancer. Probably causes cancer, all right? Not 100%.
Okay.
All right, so this is part of the problem with the grains. It's not just the gluten itself, it's also how it's grown and the contamination with all of these other toxicants. And so this is why when people go to other countries and their grains are not grown like that, their wheat isn't grown like that, they can eat it and they don't get sick. So that's just one of the reasons. And I could break down a couple more, but that's one of the primary things.
Yikes.
So when I travel outside the country, I see a lot of foods here that are banned in other places in the world.
Yeah.
Banned.
Banned.
You can't even sell it legally in a grocery store, and it's everywhere here in the United States.
Crazy, yeah.
What is that?
I mean, there's a whole plethora of foods that are like that. In particular, certain additives that we use in the U.S., like certain food dyes, are outlawed. You know, many of them have been found to contribute to ADHD in children, and also carcinogens. And also, there's this new category of contaminants that we have a lot of data on now called obesogens. All right, so these are obesity-causing agents. And so our food system, and here's the overarching reason. So have you guys talked about like the difference between ultra-processed food and processed food before?
I was going to ask you that part too, but go for it. Yeah.
All right, so humans have been processing foods forever.
Yes.
All right, cooking a food is processing the food. Baking a sweet potato, cooking a steak, cooking some spinach. And by the way, I just thought about how that big box of spinach goes to that tiny little mouth when you cook it. But you're changing the chemical structure of the food. Processing has been done by humans for a long time, taking the olives and pressing the oil out, or coconuts pressing the oil out. So processing is not the issue. You can still tell where those foods came from, right? Right. When you press the oil out of a coconut, it's like, oh, okay, they came from the coconut. That's processed foods. Ultra processed foods, these are foods that when you see like a field of corn or a field of wheat, and somehow that shit becomes Pop-Tarts or a bowl of Lucky Charms.
Okay, yeah.
Right, or Funyuns, right? It's so far removed from anything real, you can't really even tell where it came from. Like if I was to present a bag of Funyuns to a hunter-gatherer tribe and be like, where did this come from? They don't look at you like you're crazy. Like, that's not even food. And so we have that starting point plus all the additives and preservatives and toxic food dyes and all these other, I mentioned with glyphosate, the list goes on and on.
Why is our government allowing this to happen?
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to just tell you straight up.
I'm asking you.
Yep.
All right, so here, and of course I asked this question, and I really, the thing about me is I try to remain in a place of neutrality.
That's fine.
And try to see the best in things, right?
Okay.
And
do that because I don't want no target on you.
That part. Yeah. So an analysis that was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association looked at how this is happening. How can we go to Jack in the Box and get 2 for 99-cent tacos, but an avocado costs $3? One avocado that falls off a tree costs more than 2 cost-intensive tacos, including all the meat, all the so-called vegetables,
right.
all the processing of making it, the wrapping, the marketing, all that stuff is very cost-intensive. How does that cost less? And what it is because of government subsidies. So this study found that the U.S. government had contributed about $200 billion over this 15-year time span to companies, processed food companies, essentially, that are making products that end up coming through the drive-through window and then processed foods. So genetically modified wheat, corn, soy, because when we go to the grocery store, it looks like a whole bunch of diversity, but it's a lot of that's made from the same shit. And so our government is literally funding this issue. And then this other analysis found that they looked at who's consuming these government subsidized foods. They found that in particular low-income communities and people who had the highest intake of government subsidized foods had a 30% greater incidence of having obesity, type 2 diabetes, inflammation, all these things.
Yeah.
And then that by nature And this is another one of the things that's proven in the science. When we reach these states, it's more difficult to make it out of poverty. And so it becomes this vicious circle.
Yep.
And so the truth is, the system that we have allowed to be built is profiting from our sickness. It's profiting from our ignorance. It's profiting from our pain. We have a $4.2 trillion healthcare system, and we have the sickest nation in the history of humanity. Something's not adding up. And so I'm a big fan of looking at the results. We're not doing okay because we're allowing people to take advantage of us, and that shit is over now.
Come on, Shawn Stevenson is here.
Yep.
It's all a part of it. You just made the correlation to health insurance.
Diabolical. Yeah.
So the food is making us sick. The health insurance is
Give you the pills.
give you the pills that don't
Stay
heal,
on.
that keep you sick.
Yeah.
And then we pay health insurance every month. And the moment you try to stake a claim, it's like they pack up and the building disappears.
Ain't that something?
I've seen buildings disappear.
Yeah.
Man, Shawn Stevenson is. I don't want to hog my brother. Anybody?
Right.
Heather Tracy?
Of
Okay,
course,
go.
of course.
Wait, hold on. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's take play a song. We're gonna come back.
Do it.
And take some calls too.
888.
This the
you can't-
one.
You can't pay for this, y'all.
This the one.
There's nothing more important. Fuck a bag. Chase your health. There's nothing. What you gonna do with the bag if you don't have good health?
Right.
How many rich people who are sick wish they could be poor with great health? So if you tuned in, if you look at this man's book, he has his entire family. He has an amazing family.
And
Yes.
very easy
Yeah.
recipes to follow. That's what I loved about it.
Eat Smarter Family Cookbook, and he included his family on
Yes.
there.
And it's healthy twist on old classics. So these are dishes that we are more than familiar with.
Yep.
888-742-3345. Get your mind right. Get your health right. Call us. Yeah, man, we talking soul food. Shawn Stevenson, the author of his new cookbook, Eat Smarter Family Cookbook. It's 100 delicious recipes to transform your health, happiness, and connection. I'm glad folks are calling up to ask this man questions. He's truly a guru. Before I throw this to Heather and Tracy, we handed you a bottle of water. Right. Right. And I wanted to see your reaction to this water. Like, you look like you cringed to sip this water. So let me ask you a water question about water, because you know, we see these high pH bottles of water like Smart Water or Essentia, and they selling this. I got a 5-step filtration system at my house.
Yeah.
But it's not a reverse osmosis system. What are your thoughts on water? I heard that all of these plastic bottles of waters that we are drinking, it's actually not good for us.
All right. So number one, if you don't have a filter, you become the filter. So having any type of filter is going to be helpful.
Okay. Damn. Think about that.
But here's the thing. All right. So yeah, when I received this water, I blessed it. You know, I was grateful that my brother gave me this water to quench my thirst. And I know that, yes, this water has, and by the way, I'm not just saying this because it sounds good. Like, one of my colleagues is a board certified toxicologist.
Yes.
All right. In the lab studying this stuff. And the way that plastics, these are fossil fuels. All right. So we're talking about the same stuff that is put into your gas tank, right? Coming from the same source. And what we're using when we had the discovery, there's naturally occurring plastics, by the way. But when we discovered the ability to take these fossil fuels and turn them into basically anything, what had to be done was to use plasticizer chemicals that soften it to mold it. And some of those are BPA, BPS. There's so many. There's dozens of them. And what these plastics are, these plasticizer chemicals, they are clinically proven to be something called xenoestrogens. So these are estrogen-like compounds that come from external from your body that fit into estrogen receptor sites in your body and turn on programs that mimic estrogen. So this could lead to the increased incidence of breast cancer. This could lead to the development of breast tissue in men. The list goes on and on.
Talk about it.
So there's many different.
Sway got titties.
I'm feeling myself.
Instead of the bra, you get yourself a bro. All right.
Bras for the bros.
So, and here's the thing. So a lot of plastic bottles now will say BPA-free.
Right.
But that's really just kind of health washing. And I maybe they're trying to take an attempt, but the reality is, again, there's BPS. There's again dozens of other plasticizer chemicals. This is really inappropriate to put water in because, and here's the bottom line, plastic doesn't biodegrade like other things. It photodegrades. So even light being on this plastic bottle breaks it down faster.
Into the
right?
water?
Into the water. So water is called the universal solvent. So anything that it touches, it integrates with.
Yeah.
So you're drinking plastic tea. You're definitely drinking microplastics and nanoplastics if you're drinking water.
Hey man, give me that water. Take mine. Yeah, I didn't touch it. Give me that back.
So,
And also,
Shawn,
hey,
when
listen,
you go out,
listen.
so
What
say-
about this? Hold on. He just passed me a paper cup that would come from like a nice Starbucks. This is paper. Why isn't this shit melting when the water's in it? Because it's plastic lined in the cup.
Oh, give me my cup back.
And last piece, and I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news.
No, we need to hear this.
Yeah.
Last piece. So what happens when you put a hot liquid into that paper cup at Starbucks?
You find out Santa Claus is not real.
Ho, ho, ho. So here's what we found. Again, toxicologist, peer-reviewed study. You're consuming about 25,000 microplastics per serving of hot coffee. All right. And our cells are not very good at metabolizing these plastic compounds. It's a newly invented thing. And so my question to you is, since you are what you eat, you are what you drink, and we're becoming more plastic, are we becoming like Barbie and Ken dolls out this month?
Damn, you look like a Ken doll the way your body is. I see what you mean by that, right? You look like an action.
The Barbie movie was.
So Shawn, this is not a commercial for
Barbie.
anybody, right? It's not a commercial for any company. But let's just say you're out with your family, something happens, you left the water that you carry in the car, you're walking around New York City, it's 90 degrees. You go into a store, you see the 15 choices. What would you buy?
Yeah, great question. So ideally, we'd get, if we're buying water out somewhere,
Yeah,
if we
out.
can get it bottled in glass, that would be great.
Okay.
Stainless steel is good as well.
Those
And by the
bottles.
way, the main thing is we want to approach this with some grace. We don't want to be crazy neurotic about it, because again, like I just took a sip. There was a time, again, when I found out the science, I was like, I'd rather not, you know. And we went on a long ass flight and we got off and I couldn't get access to water. I was crazy dehydrated. And so it's just understanding like cost benefit analysis. It's better to be hydrated with a water that's been purified or sourced from a spring. And that's the other point too, is getting a water filter at your home is the best option. You know,
Right.
like he mentioned, reverse osmosis would be good. But what that does is it creates a water that is essentially a blank slate. Right?
Yeah.
It's eliminating all the naturally occurring minerals as well. And so here's another truth, is that there isn't any pure, quote, H2O in nature anywhere. All right. And I put that in quotes because that's what we're taught in school. H2O, drink your H2O, Bobby Boucher. Right? Drink your high quality water, you know. The reality is we will not find water. Or
Nobody got
pure
that water
H2O.
boy quote. I'm just letting you know.
My man, I saw you though. I saw you.
Quality H2O.
George did. I smiled.
But you're not going to find pure H2O anywhere in nature
Anywhere.
by itself, because water is a universal solvent. It's always integrating with what's in its environment.
Wow.
And our ancestors would always set up our tribes, set up our communities where the water was. All right. And water's going to be naturally presented in certain environments, namely through springs. That was a primary spot. Now we have the technology to create wells, right? And so we're drilling down, basically they're underground lakes. They're called aquifers. And in the aquifer, when the water's coming out in the spring, it's basically going through the Earth's filtration process.
Yeah.
When you
Right.
buy that water filter, they're just replicating what the Earth does
Wow.
naturally, okay? So they got like the sedimentary layer, charcoal, all that kind of stuff. And so when you drill down into a well, there's going to be a lot more minerals that maybe it's too high in minerals, right? Something called TDS, or total dissolved solids. And so you need to filter that water as well. Because that water is it's well.
I get
You
it.
know?
I got this.
Right?
Yeah.
But ideally, spring water,
Spring water is best.
bottled in glass,
Bottled
or
in
get your
glass.
own filtration system at home, and add minerals back to the water so that the water has structure. All right. So when we drink water, it's not just automatically nourishing our cells. There's an interface between our cells and the water itself. And there are these little protein bridges. They're called aquaporins. And so basically, if the water doesn't have structure from minerals, it's not going to have that kind of access pass, like to get up here in the building, to get across and get into your cells, if that makes sense. So you can be drinking a lot of pure water or distilled water and not really get your cells hydrated in the way that they naturally would. So I hope all that makes sense.
So what
Bottom
do you
line,
add to the water then, Shawn? You said if you had spring water, what would I add to it? Or is it just safe to drink the spring water?
Some
Spring
people
water, no
add
glass.
Himalayan salt.
Yeah.
What is the thing with Himalayan salt?
Okay, there's so many different types of salt. Again, our ancestors, there's even the word salary is derived from the word salt as well, because people was getting paid in salt. It's so valuable. And animals in nature, you ever saw those goats that like climb up on the
side, yeah.
They're trying to get some salt. You know, that's the that has them doing that kind of behavior.
Off the mountain.
Because of the minerals.
The electrolyte,
Electrolytes. You just said the magic word. So what are electrolytes? These are minerals that carry an electric charge. And these minerals enable your cells to communicate. So something called signal transduction, among other things. So basically, the trillions of cells that make you up, Sway, can't talk to each other efficiently if you're deficient in electrolytes. And these are just really salts. All right, so there's sodium salt, there's potassium salt, there's calcium salt, there's so many different types of salt, but we look through this tunnel vision of just sodium salt.
Right.
And also it's villainized when one of the studies that I cite in the book, for example, is from researchers at McGill University, and they found that sodium functions as an on-off switch in the brain for turning on neurotransmitters that protect your brain from neurodegenerative diseases. All right, we need sodium. And there's another study from researchers at Harvard that found that having too low sodium intake increases insulin resistance. So this makes you at much higher risk of developing diabetes, excessive belly fat, the list goes on and on.
Shawn Stevenson is here. No, hold up, Ty. We got only a little bit of time left. I want to get to callers. I want to get Tracy. And I think you're overselling right now. Let them buy the book. Because I'm trying to buy the book right now.
There's a lot of books that you can buy.
He got a lot of books, but the new book is Eat Smarter, Family Cookbook, 100 delicious recipes.
And again, I just want to stress, a lot of times people are afraid to buy cookbooks because they feel like, I don't have those ingredients, I can't get this. You guys, citizens, this is super easy to follow. You did a great job, Shawn, with breaking down the recipes. I love to cook at home. This is so easy to follow, seriously.
We got Brian on the line from Oakland. We're going to take a few callers. B, go ahead. What you want to say to Shawn real quick?
Yeah, B.
Oh, boy. I just got to salute. I worked 10 years in plant-based meat, and that's just with the intent of feeding people, not turning people vegan, not this or that. And it's coming at it from an inclusionary perspective. We're trying to do the hand-to-hand combat and feed people most effectively. Shawn, you're on the same mission. I got all the love. Thank you for putting this book out.
Wow, I received that, man.
Yeah, man.
And listen, this book is inclusive. He just said it's not necessarily about converting someone to veganism or vegetarianism. From all ends of the spectrum, from vegan to carnivore, everybody's included into this party. Because people that are really about that life, we're infighting about minutia. We need our citizens eating real food and less ultra-processed food, which here's the punchline for what I shared earlier. According to the BMJ, British Medical Journal, one of our top-tier journals, American adults' diet is now 60% fake food, ultra-processed food.
We're eating fake food.
But it's worse for our kids. This is the first book publishing this new data. This is published in JAMA, the Journal of the American Medical Association. They looked at childhood ultra-processed intake for 20 years. In 1999, our kids' diet was 61% ultra-processed food. By 2018, it's almost 70%.
Wow.
All right, we're making our babies' bodies out of fake food. And this is why, in the same time period, by the way, childhood obesity is almost tripled. We have to stop this. And again, Heather said it. Thank you so much for that acknowledgement. We're taking hood classics. We're taking real food. We're taking things that we grew up with, and we're just making it with real food ingredients.
So
That's
it's
it.
so
It's
easy
just an upgrade.
to follow. My gosh.
We got Brian. Thank you. You're a citizen, Brian.
Sweet morning.
I'm going to take one more. Alfie in Baltimore. Go ahead. What would you like to say?
Hey, Alfie.
Hey, good morning, yo. How y'all feeling today?
Excellent.
Yep.
Go for it.
All right. Quick thing. This interview hit me hard because I'm just coming from the doctors. I've been going through the same thing from my C3 down to my C5 and 6, hemorrhage, bulging. So I've been going through the same thing with spine deterioration and everything.
Yeah.
I changed my diet real heavy in 2020. I stopped eating meat in 2017, but in 2020 I was at my best. But I've been just now all of a sudden, my diet, I end up slipping, eat more sweets and things like that. So to make things shorter, I've been going now, it's like reverse now from after I didn't have my surgery. And listen to what you're saying and everything, like, man, this, I need to get this book because it hits me hard. It hits me to, what I'm going through. And I called in before to talk to Tracy about imposter syndrome because, now, going through this, I feel like I'm not, the person that I was because, with the nerve pain and things like that. So it goes down to a lot of things I've been doing, like podcasting and things like that. It feels like I don't feel like doing these things anymore because I don't, the stress from not being, strong as I used to be, it trickles down.
You want to talk to him about that?
Absolutely, yeah. So just a huge acknowledgement to you, man. I know how much pain that can be, and a lot of people don't understand it because sometimes you can look okay, but if something's wrong with your spine, like it is a lot of suffering. And so he just mentioned, being able to upgrade your diet because you're providing the raw materials to make new tissues. And if you give your body the raw materials, it knows what to do. We just sometimes got to get out of the way. And also, he mentioned, kind of slipping, falling off, but this isn't like, this isn't something that we can't upgrade as well because we have to treat ourselves. We have this innate desire as human beings to seek tasty things. That's not the problem. Food manufacturers have manipulated our desire to eat tasty things. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And so even, like I mentioned, living in Ferguson, Missouri, if I got up in time, I get to McDonald's, get the hotcakes and sausage. So my family also, we love brunch. So we put together these delicious sweet potato pancakes, right, to upgrade that. So you hit that sweet
you still
note.
Hit that sweet note.
Get that deliciousness, but in a much more advantageous package because that sweet potato is going to provide these anthocyanins that are found to improve your memory, also improve your gut health. The list goes on and on.
I need that.
Right.
Okay.
So this is what we're doing. Again, we're just upgrading foods that we already love. And also we got Snicker Bites in here.
Okay. In the book.
In the book.
Well, that's the thing that's surprising about the book is that you would think, oh my gosh, well, he's a health guy and I'm not going to like this food. Like I can't, there's no bread, there's no meats, there's no this. And that's not the case here.
That's not what it is.
Yeah, it's good food.
Tracy, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, citizens, you already hear it. We're in conversation with a master, Shawn Stevenson. Like all the salutes in the world are not even enough. What I love about this book is you get so many different health benefits, like emotional health benefits, because what I've noticed with families, we don't have dinner together. Yeah. So even the connection and cooking together, learning together and appreciating our time. Also, you touched on, the cognitive benefits because your memory, the amount of scientific facts and these like really crazy, terms that you're able to just spew out in a second is so impressive. And so I want to know a bit more about that, as well as when it comes to families, the adults, food can also impact your libido, your sexual health.
That part, yeah.
Speak on that, because I think a lot of folks don't realize it.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So thank you so much for that acknowledgement as well. Like, I'm not innately just some kind of superhuman. This is the capacity we all have. Yeah. I was not this person 20 years ago. And the reality is, again, just by providing the right food isn't just food, it's information, right? Providing ourselves with a different quality of information is literally changing what our DNA is doing. It's changing the copies that are getting printed of us. We have this new field of epigenetics. That's really where science is now, determining how our genes are expressed. And so one of the most remarkable, and when we started this show, I mentioned changing the microculture. And this is one of the biggest takeaways for everybody. And this is the reason I wrote this book. So changing the microculture really has to do with our family and the people that we love. And we've been fractured. We've been fractured as a people. We've been fractured as families. We evolved. If we go all the way back, we evolved in tribes. Then we started to kind of parse out and we had communities, but we still lived close by to extended family. Now we moved to a place where a lot of us don't live near our mothers, fathers, aunties, that kind of thing. And then now we have a place where even inside our own household, we're all separated because of our devices.
Exactly.
Our devices have divided us completely.
Our video games, our phones.
All of this cool technology. Shout out to all those things.
Yeah.
I love them. But we need real FaceTime, and the science has found this. So researchers at Harvard found that families that eat together on a regular basis consume significantly more real food and by nature, significantly higher intake of essential nutrients that prevent chronic diseases in those family members and less processed food, ultra processed foods. And I was just like, knowing from my practice that people want change, but they often don't want to change that much to get it. I was like, what's the minimum effective dose? How often do we need to eat together to get these benefits seen in the data? 2 studies. One was published in pediatrics, looking at kids, and another was for adults, which I'll get to in a second. The one published in pediatrics found that eating together with your family 3 times a week dramatically reduces the incidence of obesity in those children and dramatically reduces the incidence of eating disorders in those children 3 times a week, at least. Okay. And you could pick what those days are. align it to your lifestyle, right? It could be Monday, Wednesday family dinner, and then brunch on Sundays. That's kind of how we roll, actually.
Okay.
All right. Fit it on your lifestyle. But here's my objective for everybody. Schedule it. Put it on the calendar. We put all this other shit that's not as important as our family on the calendar instead of putting the thing. And I would ask people in my practice, like, why do you want to get these benefits? Why do you want to improve your health?
Right.
And they would often say, it's my family. My family is the most important thing to me. But then we look at their calendar and it doesn't really match up. There is a mismatch.
Right.
And so schedule it, make it real, put some permanence on it. And last one I'll share with the adults. This was conducted by some tech workers at IBM. And they found that when they were able to have family dinners consistently, regardless of how stressed they were at work, and I know work can be stressful because my man over here dropping shit right now, and it's just like, he's just like, what's going on?
Live on air.
So work can be stressful, but they found when they were able to make it home for family dinner consistently, their work stress stayed negligible. If they were able to neutralize it essentially, their work morale stayed high and productivity stayed high. But as soon as they were prevented from having consistent meals with their family, work morale plummeted, productivity went down, and stress went up. Why does this matter? This is published in JAMA as well. Upwards of 80% of doctor visits today are for stress-related illnesses. Stress is killing us because, as we started off with, your thoughts create chemistry in your body. All right, so this is protective. Eating together with the people that we love. Last thing, 1 minute, I'll tell you why. When we're together like this, our chemistry changes because we know each other. It's oxytocin starts to get produced, and oxytocin has been found to neutralize cortisol. All right, so that's number one. Number two, this is a switch over from our sympathetic fight or flight we're always in to parasympathetic. Rest and digest. That's the nickname of that part of the nervous system. And the last part is the psychological part, because we get to see each other. We get to actually see the people that we love, because a lot of our communication is not verbal. It's nonverbal. And also there's an energy as well. So I can see my kids. I can see my wife. I can see where they are in life.
Amen.
I can let them feel seen and acknowledged, which is a deep psychological human need. I can go on and on, but that's why it works.
You're doing an amazing, Shawn Stevenson. This is such a great.
And follow him. I just followed you on IG, Shawn. He's at Shawn Model, SHAWN Model, MODEL.
And the book is available where?
Everywhere books are sold.
Hey, Shawn Stevenson, Shawn Model, follow him there. You did an excellent job today. I want to say thank you. I knew we were cut from a similar cloth. We played soul food, and he was trying to name the different members of Goody Mob. And right then and there, it was just like an electrolyte. Just sent a program to one of my cells that went straight up into my mind. And in my mind, I felt like he was a hyena. I knew he was a hyena in my mind.
With bars?
With bars.
Health bars?
Health bars.
Health bars?
DB, drop a beat on him, man. I feel like he's a hyena right here. We got Shawn Stevenson on the mic by special request.
Wow. Okay. I can't believe this is happening.
Sway the morning.
Yeah. Listen to me. Okay. Holy, I can't believe this.
Smart bars early in the morning. Let's go.
You want to freestyle, the style ain't free. If you trying to get healthy, you should come see me. Rolling with my son, Jordan E. Spelled with an E, and my little son B. Ooh, we in here with Sway. All the legends come here to stay. Oh, I'm getting kinda hungry. Get the cookbook, won't be hungry. You won't be hungry. That's tired and hungry and angry and mungry. I just made up a word. Fuck it, that's a turd. That means I'm the shit. About to get with my fam, Heather B. Let's go, Tracy G. We up in here doing it live. Oh my God, I can't believe they let us outside. We crazy in here. Eat Smarter Family Cookbook this year. Get it. We got a hyena up in here. We got a hyena up in here. We got a hyena. Let's go.
Health bars. Follow this man at Shawn Model, SHAWNMODEL.
Yes. And subscribe to his podcast. That's how I got introduced to Shawn. You can hear him speak about this, and as well as with other experts too. So the Model Health Show, subscribe to it today.
What's it called?
The Model Health Show.
Hey, if you like this video, make sure to check out this video right here. When our fat cells are overly full,
they start to send out sort of this false distress signal, pulling in immune factors as if you're infected. And so researchers at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine found out how this is connected.